Yo, what's good? What's good? Welcome to the Epic Entertainment Critics. I am Antoine,
And I'm still James.
and we are about to give you an epic review on the best movie of the year, Six Underground. But before we do that, I got an intro. We have an intro. Apologies. All right, hold on. God damn it. Okay, yeah, we're back. Sorry, I'm working on one monitor. It sucks. Nothing works right. All right, now we back. Sorry, one person got his stuff together and the other person fucking up. But we are doing a review on Six Underground. I know everybody been waiting to see this review. Most epic movie of the year. By the way, I was joking about that. I didn't want nobody. If anybody didn't click off when I said the best movie of the year,
It's like subscriber count now at 0.
Come back. That was sarcasm.
It was a joke.
You guys don't do sarcasm anymore? What the fuck? But no, Six Underground starring Ryan Reynolds, produced. It was directed by Michael Bay too, right?
Right. Yeah.
Directed by Michael Bay. Oh my God. This movie is like it's like this should have came out 2005.
Yeah.
This movie had so early 2000s blockbuster action movie written all over it. You know what I'm saying? It should not existed in 2019. What you think overall on this movie, man, before we get into the details?
You know what? I wonder what the world would have been like if we had gotten this instead of Fast and Furious.
Well, we wouldn't be up to 9. I guarantee you that.
Right.
All right, so this movie starring Ryan Reynolds, man. He is a rich billionaire inventor. I guess you don't know that till later. That put together a crack SEAL team, a badass mercenary team to take out bad guys, as he say. And I'm gonna tell you the thing about Ryan Reynolds, dude. He's always Deadpool. Like everything he do, he has the same kind of sense of humor, and it's kind of annoying because it's like, are you playing a role or are you playing yourself? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, and he could get away with it before Deadpool because you didn't know how to put a name on it. It was just Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But now it's like, so every time you go into a movie, this is it. This is all you got.
Right. And I don't really want to give him a pass on that because you do the same style of comedy, which is okay. You got your signature. But if you play different roles, you can't keep being the same person just with different names. You know what I'm saying? You got to show that you can act.
You know, in Deadpool, he's an asshole who's a mercenary who can heal. In this, he's an asshole who's rich who sends people on missions. But it's like it's the same asshole.
Right, exactly, dude. Just the way he cursing and stuff. Don't you do that, you motherfucker? It's like, dude, that's Deadpool.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, okay, are you acting or you know what I'm saying, or are you just being yourself?
Right.
Like, and it gets to a point where, okay, it's fun the first time, but now it's getting old. You gotta show me that you're an actor, not just like you said, a rich asshole that make jokes, like quick jokes, whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling that. So it was other characters in the movie. So they did the old school, I'm gonna say, early 2000s way of doing these action movies, where you do the freeze frame of the person. They introduce the person and they do a freeze frame and then give them a nickname or say their name or whatever.
Yeah. You know, Smoking Aces, that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. They tried to do all these movies in the early 2000s, and none of them was successful. for some reason, it took them like 10 movies to figure out, nah, this just ain't working.
Yeah. And then nobody told Suicide Squad. So.
Yeah. Basically, it's the same thing. The Losers, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? All these little type of action movies, it just, I don't know, for some reason, they wasn't real successful. It seems like they would be, though, because everybody liked that cool action. But it just got to a point where just nobody was going
I think back then it was just oversaturation. Too many of those movies came out around the same time.
Well, one a year. You know, you always get at least one every summer. You know, and it's like, oh, is this going to be the cool, stylish movie of the summer? And
it's the same as last year's.
Yeah, and then people kind of, after the second one, people was like, man, it's the same shit. Oh, I'm good. You know, I'll wait till get to a video. You know, that's what everybody was saying about those movies. You know, Wanted, you know, all that stuff. So you got all these characters, and they all got specialties. This is, you know, the norm, which is, this can be fun. It's kind of like a music video. So they in the middle of a mission, and when they, you know, they do a freeze frame on them as they working on their first mission or whatever. How'd you think of that opening scene? Because they opened it up with a huge action scene.
So first off, if I didn't already know this was Michael Bay working behind the decks, I knew with this opening scene it was Michael Bay.
I would say you would have known, like, after like 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of this car chase. But I'll give them one thing though: the practical stunts was kind of cool. I really like. I'm looking like, I don't know how somebody didn't get killed or hurt doing those stunts. Because it wasn't CGI. It's a lot of stuff they didn't use CGI, and I do respect that. They did use a lot of stuntmen. Unless I was mistaken, they used CGI. I couldn't tell, which is a good thing if they did.
Right. So you know, respect on that, but also I do have to say that chase scene went on too long.
Oh yeah. I'm getting to that. But it was the scenes right when the dude, when the motorcycle. When the car, right? When I guess he shot the dude in the head, and then he then fell in front of the car and got flipped and hit, and then the motorcycle got trashed. It looked like that was all practical, you know. Stuff
I think
like
it was
right. Stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that was cool because that looked like that dude got effed up for real. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like that's the best way to keep people in an action sequence is to have practical effects because CG effects almost never have any weight to them. So it's like, all right, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It was cool in the early '90s because CG was something new, but now we've seen so much CG that it's like, okay, if it don't look real, I'm out. You know, but. That was good, but to your point, that action scene felt like it was never going to fucking end. I was like, is this the movie? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could have rolled the credits. After that last part of that end, you could have rolled the credits. I didn't need to see no more of a movie because that was like a 17-minute action scene. Way too long.
And then, like, stacked on top of that, you have Ryan Reynolds and James Franco's little brother having their own little, you know.
Oh, that's what it was?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Go ahead.
You know, and so you got them in the front seat having their own experience with this, and they just keep going back and forth on everything.
Yeah, that's his comedy. It's funny the first time, but I've seen it in several movies, including Deadpool 1 and 2. Yeah. And I'm like, it's getting kind of old, you know.
It's such a referential form of comedy where it's like, hey, a thing is happening. Hey guys, this thing is happening. You know what this thing is like? This thing is like that thing. Things are happening.
It's you're in the middle of a hectic situation, and you making jokes and trying to make the audience laugh and whatever. I mean, it's okay. It's kind of fun. We've seen it before though. But like, yeah, the action scene went on. It's like Michael Bay. Don't you know how to cut off an action scene? Because it gets to a point where you get numb to it. You know, how many times can I see somebody get knocked around and exploded? If you keep doing it, it's not cool. You know,
like,
you got to.
And also, I have to say, like, just off the construction of the scene, which I will admit is probably supposed to like tell you something about how these folks operate, but like all I could think of is like, how many innocent people have they killed in this chase scene?
Yeah, but they made it a point to save a baby and the puppies. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, y'all. Okay, so we ain't gonna just go on one scene. What's this movie about? What's this movie about? It's about a billionaire that got tired of the world being bad, and he decided to do something on his own.
Pretty much. You know what? This is a low rent version of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah. Oh no. Or Wanted maybe, because wasn't or maybe Kingsman, or because I'm thinking it's a group that decide to. They're not sanctioned by the government. They just doing things themselves. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that kind of what it is?
Kind of, yeah. You know, only instead of a bunch of old rich dudes in England, it's one rich American asshole.
Yeah, that hires ex-military people to do, you know, and it's like, okay, it's kind of it's not a bad idea. It can be a decent idea, but the whole premise ain't bad, but the execution is like, why are you doing this? You know? And then they kind of gave a reason why. Oh, it was the not just the editing, but the way they do these flashbacks. It was so uneven. Like they said, "Hey, let's explain this in the flashback," and then after the flashback, I was like, "That didn't tell me shit." You know what I'm saying? Did you get that feeling, or did you get
it? No, I totally did. Like, because after the first flashback, I'm like, okay, so we're gonna get a flashback, so we know how these people ended up being, you know, the folks he went after. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's why I was like, or how they ended up working for him or whatever. Everybody backstory was like corny as hell and stupid. And I'm like, dude, how they cutting this movie, dude? I don't like movies like this since the early 2000s because all the colors and shit just get on my nerve. Go ahead.
So this is something else that I was thinking. So watching these flashbacks, each of these characters is like a parody of the main character from a early 2000s action flick, man.
Yeah, no,
so you got the hitman with a heart.
They are a caricature of these characters.
You got the secret agent who don't like the orders they follow, and you got the driver who's a little bit crazy.
The new guy is always the one that can't get with the program because he's changing it up. He's saying, "Hey, we can't do things.
Things gonna change around here."
Yeah, yeah. So they got this thing where nobody gets a name, everybody just get a number. Wherever I've seen that before, Reservoir Dogs, but everybody gets a name. I mean, everybody gets a number, so nobody can know anything about each other. So if one of them get caught, they can't talk about them. I guess that's the reason. So we're all ghosts. Everybody had to fake their death so we can. Man, this is so corny. Everybody had to fake their death so they can be ghosts. You know, yeah. And then the way they talk about it, like it's so cool to fake your death. Like the best part about being dead.
You know what the best thing about being dead is?
Yeah, the best part about being dead, you don't have to watch what you eat. Yeah, the best part about being dead, yes, you do, dumbass. You can still die. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh,
it was so corny.
Like if this had been billed as a straight up comedy from the jump, I would have no problems with this movie at all.
But no, these movies try to be so witty that it's so not good. Stuff like, hey, if you hit another person, I'm walking. Yeah, in the middle of a gunfight, you're going to get out and walk. Shut up. You know, that's not funny. You know what I'm saying? Stop. Be for real. I mean, it gets to a point where I'm looking for a little more realism in these movies. These movies are just stylish. You know, they stylish. Yeah. They got style, but the realism just gone, all of it.
Yeah.
So we can talk more about the action, where they got some cool scenes. They got some cool shooting scenes. They got a couple of gory moments that maybe say, okay, you know, it couldn't save the rest of it, but they had some gory moments. They did one scene with a flash grenade that I was like, okay, damn.
Hey, look, like Homeboy had the exact same reaction we did too. Like, it was a flashbang.
Right. I didn't think it was gonna do that. God damn. But I was like, okay, I give y'all that. You know, so it was a couple of cool things, man. We seen this in the trailer with the magnet. You know, that was cool. But guess what? They use it too much.
Yeah. You know, and tied to that, they couldn't decide how competent Ryan Reynolds' character actually was.
Right, he's supposed to be this genius that's funny or whatever. I mean, it was cool, but they was doing a lot of back and forth jokes with that, where the screen's cracked. I'm trying, it's like all right. But I was like, when I saw on the trail, he got this super magnet that it is just like pull. Were they guns made out of like plastic or something? Why did they infect they shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was they got to put a nice little knot in there, but they I don't know if they still call them that, but they used to call them ghost guns. Because you could get them through a security check.
Okay. So that was a cool gag, but the thing is, one, it was two things wrong. It was a badass move that incapacitated the enemy, but it only was a minor inconvenience for them, because once they turned the magnet off, they was right back where they was at. Like, so I'm like, wait a minute. How many bad guys are they? So it's like, you get blown across the room, your gun you're just flying out your hand, you get stuck to a wall, you can't breathe, and then as soon as the magnet cut off, they jump right back at them. I was like,
yeah,
there was some badass villains, some badass henchmen.
They had super magnet training, I guess, in Turkmenistan.
It's like, oh yeah, we had this happen to us all the time. That's how they was acting. But okay, whatever. That part and then they kept on using that gag. I was like, okay, enough. They either got to give us a reason why this shit won't work no more, or why don't you just leave the shit on, and it won't even need to be no more fighting. You know what I'm saying? You got to give us a reason why you won't keep using it. So anyway, it was some fun stylistic action in there, but on the whole, the movie was badly edited, and the soundtrack. What you think about the soundtrack?
This is a bunch of music I listened to, and it like this sounds like the music I was listening to in '99.
I was like, you was listening to this shit?
Because like everyone I was around was listening to it. It's like it was in everything.
Dude, this is kind of music that like Paris Hilton and shit hit, like girls, like rich girls listening to. That let's get this party started, like that bullshit. It's
like I heard it everywhere when I was a kid, man. Like just couldn't get away from it. It made its way into every TV show, every movie.
It's style is pop, right? Would you call it pop? This music,
it's pop.
It's
and
like
it's just everywhere.
Girl, this is a teenage girl music soundtrack.
There's just enough of a hint of some actual music in it that you stop and listen for a second, and then you ask, what the hell am I listening to right now? Yeah. And it's everywhere in this movie.
Kudos to... Oh, I'll go ahead and finish your point. I'm sorry.
I just want to know who did the soundtrack for this, because...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if those songs are newer or older, but I don't really listen to stuff like that, so I don't know. But kudos to Michael Bay for knowing that this should not went to the movie theater. Knowing that this is where he belonged. This is okay. This is okay if I'm at home looking for an action movie and I see this pop up on Netflix. It's okay. Don't not ask me to spend $12 in the movie theater for this shit.
Right.
Don't ever do that.
But you know what? Every time I see a Michael Bay movie, all I can think is thank God he hasn't gotten around to doing a modern Miami Vice reboot. Because it's gonna be some asshole in skinny jeans and a white jacket.
Man, we seen that. Oh, he didn't do the other Miami Vice with
I don't think he was involved with that.
Fox. Okay, because that was horrible. We don't even want to talk about that. He did Bad Boys though, so that's kind of like that was pretty much Miami Vice.
Pretty much, yeah.
But anyway, the movie was just like, it was an okay action movie to watch on Netflix if you ain't watching nothing, but it was not definitely worth going to the movies to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a rating, man. So like I said, it has some good practical effects and some good kind of gags. I want to say, well, I guess I could say stunt reels with the magnet scene and some of the stylistic ways of doing action, and they had a little gore in it too. So on the action standpoint, I can give it all right, but a movie standpoint, I'm gonna give it a whack. I couldn't sit down and watch and follow this movie and like it enough. I could watch some parts of the beginning chase scene and some parts of the end shootout battle and get all I needed from this movie. And you know what I'm saying? I can't.
Yeah.
So that evens out. That turns into a whack. I'm not gonna give it a hot garbage because it was entertaining enough, but it was not a coherent movie enough to I could sit down and watch this movie and enjoy the movie. The beginning scene and the end scene was enjoyable enough. The middle was trash.
You know, as I was watching, like I was trying to say, like figure out how many times I could see myself rewatching this movie. And I'll be honest with you, I could watch this movie a couple more times, like in bits and pieces. Like if this was a TNT movie, and I was catching 5 minutes of it here, 5 minutes of there, I would love this movie.
Yeah.
Like just not needing to follow along with it, just needing to enjoy the action scenes.
Right. I give you that. Where you can come in and out.
Yeah, so like but like watching it straight through, man, this movie is so whack. I'm sorry. Like I like Ryan Reynolds. I wish I enjoyed his stuff more, but it's like, ooh, dude, sit down with that.
So that's your final verdict?
It's a whack.
There you go. I'm sorry, people who Michael Bay fans. It does get a whack, but it's worth checking out if you like Michael Bay and if you like action. It's worth sitting down on Netflix and you ain't got nothing to do. It's worth checking out, but it's not a good movie though. All right, that is our review for 6 Underground. Gonna wrap that up. Gonna wrap that up, and we're gonna move on because we got a trailer. Hold on, let me.